remember rolling up to a local accounting firm around the corner from home, and I said, I want to start a business. What do I do? I guess right the way through high school, I had no idea that I was going to end up in technology. For me, I wanted to be a forensic scientist. That's what I always thought. I loved watching CSI and those shows on TV. Come year 11, when I met up with the careers counsellor at school, she proceeded to tell me how many years I needed to spend at university to achieve that. I quickly changed my mind and said, nah, not going to do that. So that's what propelled me to go and visit the local accountant. And I remember rolling up to him day one and I said, I want to start a business. What do I do? I'd never heard of tax phrases, ABN, GST, all of these kind of terminologies. Just wasn't even in my vocabulary, so I didn't even know where to start. He kind of laughed at me and I think almost took me under his wing and said, well, your first client, your first job can be me. And you know, for me, that was a big client, big job. He had about 15 staff working there, so it wasn't just some small home customer. But it was really something that I was excited to try and to do, and I went on my merry way of trying to help them with their technology. In terms of like improving your skills and learning what to do and what works for you, it's really important to just consider yourself and how you learn, how you get motivated and what you see yourself doing. I personally can't sit there in a room with that's going to go on for 4 years and have homework to do and all these shoots. It's just not something that excites me or motivates me. And so for me, it's not something that was going to work. When I want to learn something, I'm straight onto YouTube or I'm straight onto ChatGPT now or Google or whatever it may be. I'm learning about it. I'm ringing friends that are in that particular industry or vertical. I'm asking a million questions of them. I'm considering it. I'm reading as much as I can on the topic. That's just how I learn, and that's how I enjoy absorbing information and knowledge. And so it's really a journey. I mean, learning is a lifelong passion. It's something you've got to be really interested in. And I think if you really think about something that excites you and motivates you, or a topic that you're passionate about, I think you'll find that you spend a lot of time researching it and trying to understand it and be better at it, whether it's a sport or a hobby or playing chess even. You know, even though that's not something I'm passionate about or doing, but there's something that everyone is passionate about. And so you find yourself losing time almost when you're looking into that sort of hobby, because it's something you really enjoy. And so learning is something that you can do really passively and almost by accident when it's something that you're that passionate about. And so that's what I would really recommend. So going through life, I didn't have entrepreneurs in my family or family members that were in business or that were in the tech sector, more importantly. So there were so many things I had to learn by myself. From that perspective, there's a lot of hard lessons I had to learn. One of the hardest lessons I think I had to learn was the value that I was placing in people. In the early days, you try and be really resourceful, and your mates really help you out. And I'm forever grateful for the incredible leg up that both my parents and my mates gave me all along the way. But as I started to need more team members to join, I was always looking for the cheapest I could possibly find. And the challenge with that is they generally come with no experience. And so from that perspective, I was having clients that I'd win and spend all this time winning, only to send out one of these team members, and unfortunately it led to the customer dropping us as a supplier because we were fundamentally not doing a great job. And to be honest, it wasn't the team members' fault that we were losing them, but it was my fault because I just wasn't experienced enough to know that with more junior team members, I needed to have the support mechanisms in place to make sure that they were able to know that they were doing a good job and have on the job mentoring. I was a lone ranger at the time. We were a very small business. It was me and one of my mates and a couple of other team members. And so we didn't have the support structures in place to be able to support and train those people at the time. Looking at something that already exists and then just trying to make it better, right? Where is there friction? Where is there a really hard experience? Where is there something that you look at and you go, I could do it so much better? And in a sector or industry or area that you really enjoy doing, because it's gonna mean that you're passionate about making it do well. There's so many businesses out there that are just doing things better than everyone else used to do. And yet they're extremely successful. I mean, things like Afterpay and some of these businesses, they weren't first with the idea. There were businesses all around the world that were already doing some of this stuff. I mean, even the concept of lay-by was somewhat there. All they did was just figure out a way to make it a lot better, make the experience far easier, provide that as a service out. So it's something that, if you're passionate about it, you can think of better ways that things can be done. That's the first area to focus on. You understand how you're going to serve your customer in a way that's going to differentiate you from everyone else. There's one thing making your service offering better in your eyes. There's another in making sure the customer feels like there's value, because you don't want to compete on price. So if you're going to be competing on price, then it's always going to be a race to the bottom. So how do you focus on doing something that the customer is going to be willing to pay more for, potentially even more than that competitor of yours that you're trying to do it better than? And this one's probably going to sound a little bit controversial, but to begin with, when you're starting out, you're on your own. Depending on what size customer you're going after, you've got to make yourself look bigger than you actually are. You're not going to go out there and just get a leased office from day one. That just costs too much, right? But there's plenty of serviced offices where you can just grab an address, whack it on there, pay a small contribution fee to that serviced office, and voila, it looks like you've got a big office. Make sure you look like you're a real business that exists, because unfortunately, not everyone's willing to give you that leg up or head start. And so if customers are gonna take a chance on you, it might be too much risk for what they find palatable. If you can make yourself look a little bit bigger than you are, I'm not saying make yourself look like you got 10,000 staff, but if you can make yourself look like you've got 3 or 4 people and you're established, you're likely to get much more opportunity than what you would if you were just literally starting out with nothing. Thanks very much for watching. I know this one was a bit more of a personal one and a bit of a look into my journey. If you've got any questions or have any ideas, leave a comment below, because I'd love to answer some of those or give you some advice on how I would start or how I would have gone. I personally wish I had someone that I was able to do this to. YouTube didn't exist 16 years ago, or at least it wasn't as mainstream as it is today. But yeah, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and look forward to bringing you some more content really soon.